Hey, hey, hey.
Hi, everybody.
Metamystic episode
5.
5?
Yes. We are on episode 5.
What is 5 in numerology? Aren't you a number 5? You are 32/5/5.
You remember that?
Of course.
I don't even know that. I totally forgot.
You're a 32/5. I'm a
Welcome.
35/8. So I'm an 8 and you're a 5. We'll look at that, you guys, if you know numerology. It is actually a very, very good match.
Well, I wanted to say, sorry.
You compliment,
I wanted to
we're a good
say,
match, and then you go, yeah. So
okay, I almost just like moved on.
that's why I
from
don't
that
say anything.
Because I wanted to say, I know. I just totally skipped that part. Sorry, I did take the compliment. We
Okay.
are a good match.
All right.
But I wanted to say hello to Deanne, and I wanted to say hello to Buck and Baron Von Crunch. Welcome back. And
the
Deanne,
captain,
yes,
Crunch, is back. Okay, good.
it's going to be another fun night tonight, you guys. Are you ready? Well, first of all, let us
What
tell
is
you
gonna
what's
happen?
going on here.
Well, first of all,
we have
I wanna
to tell
say-
them where we're at.
We are close to Sedona, Arizona, about to lead our shamanic Sedona solstice super spectacular, what else? Spirit guide retreat, which starts technically tomorrow, but we're here a night early, getting closer to Sedona. Have you guys been to Sedona? This is a beautiful place where we lead these very, very special vortex retreats where we go and connect with the energies, the portal that exists here. Look, people say there are vortexes in Sedona. I'm going to tell you, Sedona itself is a vortex. You don't need to necessarily go to all the vortexes. The moment you step in Sedona, you're going to feel that energy.
Yes.
And we're very, very happy to be here, and all the gang is coming tomorrow night.
We got John from Scotland. That is where I have my ancestry.
You're
and
33% Scottish.
I am, and we are going to be planning a trip there soon, and we will have to say hello, John.
I have been to
Hi, Joanna.
I've been to Loch Lomond, which is an amazing lake in Scotland, super magical. And we also want to say, and my brother Q, love you, nice to see you, brother, or know that you're there. You know something? Speaking of all these people who are giving us shout outs from everywhere. We are about 9,500 subscribers, and can't wait to get to the 10,000 mark, because that's a big milestone for us. You guys have helped made this channel so successful, so fast. My head is spinning, but we're glad to be here with you. And what is on your mind? You know, being in Arizona, there are certain places on the earth that you just shift your energy, and the moment you get here, you understand why there's so many UFO sightings in Arizona. You understand there's a big famous case that happened some years ago called the Phoenix Lights. You should look it up. Incredible event where thousands of people saw this giant practically a mile wide UFO that silently drifted over the city. So Google Phoenix Lights and you'll see that.
Well, when I was walking in the airport, I started to feel like I didn't know why UFOs like to come here, but for some reason I started to feel the energy of it, and I was like, "What is going on?"
attracts
Like
all
I
the
started to
aliens.
feel like, I could see why motherships come out here and the Phoenix Lights, and I could start to feel, and I was like, "Whoa, I should tune into this."
You know, I think that there's I believe there's
certain.
certain alien races that like this.
Oh, I like what you said. Sorry to interrupt you again, but I like what you said about what was it, the mayor or the senator?
The governor.
Please tell that story, because I think it's important people know how
Okay,
he
so-
disrespected.
Yeah, I mean, he's apologized for it, but
But
seriously, the
give
damage
the
was done,
backstory
right?
so people know.
Gordon, why did I say Gordon? Governor, I think forgive me, but the name is something like Symington or Simin, I don't know, Symi something, okay? You'll look it up. So when this incredible mass sighting happened of the Phoenix Lights, which I believe was 1997 here in Phoenix, so many people saw this massive craft. People who are just like you and me, just living their lives, and all over. This created this hysteria and panic, but it was based on truth. Everyone saw it. And so when this reached all the calls were coming into the governor's office, so he had a press conference and made a complete mockery of the event and brought like someone dressed up in a cheesy Halloween costume as an alien in handcuffs, and kind of made fun of all of these legit sightings. Even police officers had seen it. And
there were people who were offended.
Well, of course, because you're just dismissing something that is so life-changing for thousands of people.
And they were very nervous when they saw this big, it was a triangle.
It was a mile-wide triangle.
And a lot of people saw it.
Silent.
So then what happened after this press conference?
So, well, of course,
Months went
people
by.
were furious and were complaining about him. And then, of course, because that was a time when disclosure about aliens and UFOs, we're talking 1997, people were still in that antiquated, notion that it wasn't real and people were making things up. Well, now here we are having Senate hearings and disclosure happening, and Army and Navy videos that are being released by the Pentagon. And so that governor, years after he was out of office, started to say that he saw it also, and that he kind of panicked, and he made calls and no one answered. And this is, of course, what he's saying now, but he had to hush it up, and that's why he made a mockery of it. And then he kind of apologized, but think about all the damage that was done to all these citizens of that city who, there's a documentary called I Know What I Saw, and you should watch that. Great documentary. You could probably find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Who else is hi?
So
hi.
we have...
Hi, Fargo, North Dakota.
Yay.
Thanks for joining.
I'm so curious what's going on in North Dakota tonight, like the skies and the mysteries. I always feel it's like so mysterious.
Of course, Stephanie, you're allowed to ask psychic questions. Now, here's how it works, guys. Psychic Sundays is where I do live readings. And look, I can't get to everyone because hundreds of questions will come in. But here's how I work. For me, when I do impromptu readings, whether I do them on the street or when we're sitting in somewhere having lunch and I want to give someone in the restaurant a reading, it has to be something that I feel in the moment. Why? Because when I'm doing a private reading, that's set up and it's intentional, it's just me and that person. When I open up my psychic radar to anyone and everyone on the internet, what happens is it's like smelling 10,000 different colognes and perfumes at once, and I have to really use a lot of energy to tune into which one am I supposed to direct this message to first. So I'll kind of scroll through questions and whatever jumps out at me. There's no favorites. There's no some people are in Super Chat where they pay a little money and then, they go to the top of the list. And of course it's life. So, we do also address those questions, but it's not only those people. You don't have to pay to get a reading, okay? I do it 50-50. I just go to wherever the vibe is going, all right? That's how it works, and that's how I keep it real. Always going to keep it real with you. You know that. High five. All right.
Aw, Q's daughter's here.
Oh, Kimia.
cute.
Hi, Kimia.
We love your paintings.
You remember?
Of course. So every time I see her dad, he shows me his phone.
But we're like...
with the latest art.
She's
and
like
paintings.
14 now.
I know, but I've been watching her paintings as she's been growing up, and let me tell you, she is very talented.
My friend Q is really one of my favorite healers on the planet. He's here in Los Angeles. If any of you are in Southern California, and many of you are, and you want the name of an amazing acupuncturist and a person with great integrity and great chi flowing through his body, mind, and spirit, he has worked on me for many, many years, and I will wholeheartedly say he will guide you in the proper way in getting back into balance in your system. So if you want to know about him, drop us a chat. We'll send you his contact info. Okay. So what else is happening?
We have somebody from the UK just woke up. Mango just woke up and checked her phone, and she joined us. Good morning
Mango,
to you.
are you Indian? Mango. That's like our favorite.
Sharat.
Again, wrong. I don't even want to get into it. No, that's not how you pronounce it. We're not going to make this into a thing about you don't pronounce people's name. Hi from Peru. Wow. Nazca lines in Peru. Let's talk about them. So the Nazca lines were lines, speaking of aliens or interplanetary communication, the Nazca lines in Peru are these pictographs drawn into the mountain, into the landscape, that are of different animals. There's monkeys and there's different animals that you can only see from the sky. So two things could be happening there. One is they were already connected to the star people, and this was a way of communicating and showing different language or whatever those symbols meant. and they were already having that relationship, or it could be that they had seen them and they were trying to get their attention. Either way, this all points to they knew that there were intelligent brethren visiting from the other dimensions or the other planets, and the ancient peoples of Peru knew that very clearly. As if there wasn't enough evidence with Machu Picchu and other things, we had the Nazca lines.
Brazil. Rafaela.
Brazil. Oh my God. Oi, tudo bem? That's all I know. I know a few things. Tudo bem. And I know a couple of other things to say in Portuguese.
I wanted to, people are asking about the memberships I canceled today, so let me just tell you what's going on with that. So we jumped in on it because we were excited and we really wanted to experience it. And as we got started, we realized, oh my God, it's a lot. And
it was too much.
It was too much with our full schedule. It's just way too much. So we canceled it, refunded everybody back, and we're just like, okay, when we're ready to come back to memberships, we will.
We jumped in and we're like, all right, and everybody who gets the membership is going to get a 10-minute video reading. And I was like, honey, when am I going to do all these? There's like, 200 of them. I'll be here till next.
If you guys knew Riz's schedule, that's why we do these lives, is because this is the only chance people are going to get, really, to come in and get like a chance to have a quick reading, free reading, $5, $10, $20 reading.
It was just logistics. Like, we were so enthusiastic about it, and then it was like, how do we deliver this? I never want to be one of those psychics, and there's a lot of them who get on television, and if and when I'm on television doing it, I wouldn't do it personally, because the waiting list is like 5 years. And so if somebody has like a 10,000 person waiting list, how is that medium going to actually do that? Let's say it's a half-hour reading. Mm-hmm. Right? So this medium has 5,000 hours. How many hours in a year?
How many hours in a year?
Siri, how many hours in a year? 8,765.82 hours. So someone would have to do like 8 months of readings, 24 hours a day.
Right.
And that's never going to happen. So I don't want to be one of those mediums that does that, because people...
Right.
I mean, my waiting list now for a regular reading is 5 months, 6 months, and you know me, I don't like to make it go longer than that.
Right.
But some people wait, I personally would wait. I had a reading with someone maybe 20 years ago. I waited a year.
Yeah. So that's why we're doing this, but we really love it, and it's working out really good. So we're really excited to see everybody.
Thank you. We'll start in just a minute. I'm just kind of warming up. What do you want to talk about? I'm just going to kind of scroll through. Would you mind if I?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Oh, my dragon is showing tonight. Guys, this is my dragon tattoo.
We've never talked about our tattoos.
This is my dragon tattoo. Can you see that?
I've been getting tattoos since I was in my 20s, and then when I met Riz, at the time he wasn't sure about tattoos, but then when he caught the tattoo bug, let me tell you, he just went for it.
I had a fever.
Let me tell you, it was really exciting to watch him pick. You should show some of your tattoos. I have.
Well, first let me explain this tattoo, because
Harry Potter tattoo.
Someone, I had this tattoo.
Different
now this
countries.
You do. I love the Harry Potter tattoo.
Now you see how I have his name, and he promised that he's going to put my face on his arm. You heard that? My face on his arm.
Of course. So this, guys, let's just talk about something. You see this? This is called the psychic eye, or God's eye. It is not the Illuminati symbol. They may use it if they even exist, but that's not where it started from. In fact, you can Google it and see paintings of Christ and the apostles, and this symbol was behind them. So it represented the Trinity, or body, mind, and spirit, and psychic eye, or just the all-seeing eye of great source. But then, these symbols get co-opted by people who use them for their own whatever purposes they are. So one of my buddies was telling me, oh, my friend says Riz has an Illuminati symbol on his hand. I was like, oh my God. So when you go to India, you're going to see swastikas, because the swastika was an ancient Indian symbol, is still, and they call it svastik in Sanskrit. And so this symbol actually represented life, harmony, peace. But then the Nazis freaking, co-opted it and blew it up all over the world for this symbol of hate. But you will literally go to India and you'll see it on knapsacks. You'll see it on a pastry. And so when I lead a retreat to India, and some of my good friends who are Jewish, and I tell them before we go, and they go, oh, I know about it. I'm like, I know you know about it. When you go there and you see it, though, it might feel different to you. But I think there was so much love that they felt that when they go to India, that they kind of like diffuse that for themselves, you know?
Well,
So anyway, it's a psychic eye. What else do you want to show?
I don't know if you guys can see this. This is twin flames. So these are two orcas that are intertwined in a yin-yang position.
They're black and white, like what we're
And
wearing.
also, we just had a question from Miriam. She would like to know if she can have the contact information for Dr. Q.
Sure. I'm going to give the... if you would give us your email, then we'll post it here. Q, just type in your email, Q, and we'll copy and paste it. So...
Okay, we got some messages coming in. So I asked for Omni Collective Creativity's name. She said she was blind, so her name is Chris.
Oh, wow.
So you know that when we see her name, we always know her name is Chris.
And she's blind?
Is it a boy? Oh, no, we don't know. Male or female? Chris, let us know.
Did you say that Chris is blind?
Yes, and didn't know we had tattoos. So...
Chris, how long were you born blind? We have a dear friend who was born blind, and she is a fantastic physical therapist because she basically sees with her hands. Had 4 kids, walked them to school by herself. Just amazing things. It's amazing what we can do, and I'm glad you're with us. Okay. So, let's see. Where shall we go?
Well, we're starting to get some questions coming in. Whenever you're ready or feel warmed up, we can start. If you want it, we can start slowly and build up. We could do a few at a time.
Yeah, let me kind of go back and see where I'm drawn
questions. To. Someone's asking for their father.
I'm going to go to some people.
More questions were down.
Yeah, but I want to kind of go back in case I missed anyone. And I'm just going to kind of, you know me, when I'm scrolling, I'm just feeling like, where am I supposed to go? So you can just talk while I do it. Otherwise, you're just going to be watching me scroll.
Okay. So, yeah. Well, I wanted to talk more about tattoos, but I realized it's probably not the time to talk about. We have to do a separate episode just on tattoos, you guys, because my whole back is covered in tattoos. My leg has tattoos. I have dragons. I have a huge dragon on my thigh. I have energy lines. I have a lot of energy lines over here that I designed. A lot of these I designed. Mm-hmm. This I designed. So we just love, we're both artists. So we just, we got to the point where after we were done painting, we're just like, let's just keep on going. So
these are the chakras. These are all the chakras here. Okay, so I want to actually start off with a question. Judd is just up. You just did that. Okay.
I'm doing so good with Riz today, you guys. It's gonna be fun. And if he blows his top with me today, you guys are all gonna see it.
You're gonna see the Leo Scorpio moon come out.
Yeah, baby.
So what I just missed where it all was. Hold on. You can keep talking.
Was it Janine? Who do you remember the name?
I don't. Someone had asked a question about astral travel, and yeah, it was this. That was the name, Nikki from Phoenix. Okay. So Nikki, you were asking about, can you get hijacked while astral traveling? So what she's talking about is astral travel, astral projection. We certainly all astral travel, and astral travel is, you do this when you dream. So we all astral travel. You've been in places that you don't recognize, or you were in your grandmother's house, your cousin across the world, or someone across the country. That is astral travel that pretty much every human being does automatically. Astral projection is the intentional leaving of your, in a sense, I will say, your visual perceptions going through through time and space, so to speak, and you are able to go to another location. They also call that remote viewing, which you can look up. But astral projection, you can even do things like show up, you're like in another person's house and you're like, okay, so I see you right now. You are sitting on your bed, your right hand is touching a book. This has happened to people. And you just go, my God, how much practice do you have to do to learn how to astral project? Well, I'll tell you something. My eldest bonus kid, Alexandria, and I knew this other guy who was a lifelong yogi, super hardcore with his high vibrational everything. And Alex, she was like 17 and was just a normal 17-year-old, just having fun in life. And he couldn't astral project, and he read all these books. She went on YouTube, watched a few YouTube videos, and she was doing this. So you go, oh my God. And she was telling this guy years ago, who was this holistic doctor, how she's like, oh, I learned on YouTube. And she didn't learn from me or her mom. She learned from a couple of YouTube videos. You never know where you're going to find this information, and it rings true for you. But I would have to say that it was kind of her innocence to things that allowed her. That was the openness that allowed her to astral project. Now, getting to your question about getting hijacked, that means that you're so open that we have there's a phrase in psychic work that we call walk-ins. That means that there is some spirit, like the kind that hang around with Ouija boards. They're not really there to cause harm, but they're a bit mischievous. So you kind of leave a big chunk of your body. What does that mean? That means that instead of being at the steering wheel, you're kind of in the passenger seat. The car's kind of on automatic pilot, and then some spirit comes in and takes over the wheel. That's kind of the hijacking. It's a good word, actually, what you used. It's very descriptive, Nikki. I think her name was Nikki. What you do is you have to be very intentional with creating you have to always come from this great love and very, very directed kind of energy. You have to have a point of reference in your life that you feel very strong emotional protective energy and direction to. For example, if someone were to hand you a baby and say, walk across from this end of the room holding this baby, making sure this baby's head doesn't jerk or you don't hurt their spine in any way. Now, when you hold a baby, you become very intentional. So you imagine holding that infant. All you're doing is walking from here to your kitchen. But you will watch every step you make. You become very conscious of yourself. But you're also being gentle with the baby because you don't want to be squeezing the baby just because you're super intentional, right? So there's this combination of, I call it a rooted flexibility. So you're grounded and rooted, but you're also flexible because if the baby moves, you have to move with the baby. You have to find this kind of point of reference. That's why when I teach psychic work, I bring it into the body. I bring it up, bring things from your real life into how you create protective energy around you. Because you know, it's interesting when you're talking about your Harry Potter tattoo. I have a Harry Potter tattoo also. Let me show you. There's my Harry Potter tattoo right there. So in Harry Potter, the way he defeated Voldemort was that he had to have love in his heart for his friends. He had to think of the things that he loved the most to create the spell of protection, what meant the most to him. And so that's why the movie is so important. Those movies are so important. Rewatch them, guys, now that you're more awakened. See how those movies were really expounding on, but also simplifying in a great way what psychic reality is, which is that through our emotional energy, we create this magnetism or this repulsion. We either create resistance or we create flow. Which simply means you're either resisting, because flow is forever, everything is flow, or your part is to either surrender to it or to resist it. So that's what I wanted to say about astral travel. But I'm feeling archangels really fallen in dark, Stephanie Clark. I've never heard that in my life. Archangels are, you might say, the boss figures amongst the angels. Never heard that. Sounds like something that's pretty kind of more religious dogma. Okay. Okay, I'm going to look for a question.
We're sort of just warming up. When we really get going, I'll announce when we could do the super chats and really get going. So right now we're just kind of doing a slow warm up. We're just going to pick some questions.
Hi, Haley Powell. Okay, where am I being guided in this incarnation? I've encountered beings my whole life, and I still am, but I can't seem to understand why. I'm still learning to tune in to hear them. Okay, the why. See, you're only asking why because these are things that seem to be unusual. You don't ask why you hear the birds. You don't ask why you hear the air conditioner. You don't ask why, because you have answers for that. Because birds are animals that are going to, chirp. And the air conditioner is a piece of technology that makes a sound because the motor is running. So you don't ever ask those questions why. The only reason you ask it when you feel other spirits who are not in the body anymore. That's all they are. You're a spirit, I'm a spirit. We don't have souls, we are souls. And we have just been trained, especially in certain, most cultures in the world, most actually at this point, where we have lost this understanding of this truth that we are energy, that we are intelligence, that we are just expressing ourselves through this body. If there was only one mistake that I think that human beings ever kind of made in their evolution, really, was that we became too attached to the physical reality and not enough of including what we consider to be the metaphysical reality. So number one, why? Well, because you're supposed to. Why do I have two legs? Because you're supposed to in this incarnation. Why am I hearing spirits? Because you're supposed to in this incarnation. So leave the why out of it. What I would focus on for you, and as I'm tuning into you, what would be a good guidance for you is to just do meditation where you can locate or identify who your gatekeeper is as a spirit guide. There's plenty of meditations online you can probably find for free. You can buy some books. You can take some coaching from a medium. There's so many ways to find out who your gatekeeper is. And once you create that identifying connection with who your gatekeeper is. Your gatekeeper, by the way, is your chief of staff of all your spirit guides. They're the ones who check the ID cards, like at the club. There's a bouncer outside who checks who gets to come in, who's cool to come into the club or not. That's who the gatekeeper is. The gatekeeper goes, oh, no, you're just a spirit hanging around here causing trouble. Oh, yeah, you're the real deal spirit guide. Come on in. All of us have gatekeepers. So you have to develop a strong psychic connection. That's the only way to do that really is through meditation and learning from someone who knows what they're doing. Oh, you could do it here. Okay.
Yeah, you can do it in both places here. Just so when you're reading here, I can go
Okay. Shelley A., curious about Bashar's message from 2012 that I just discovered yesterday on the 15 symbol. Any additional thoughts? I don't know what he said in 2012, but I will tell you what my guides and my mentor's guides had said. It was 2012, and we were approaching it. My mentor and teacher's name is Alexander Murray. He's now on the other side and communicates to me, but if you want to know about one of the greatest trance channelers who ever lived and wasn't that well known, go on my YouTube channel, this channel, and look up my 5-part interview with him. This is just a few months before he passed. Anyway, my dear Alex had told me as 2012 was approaching, it was 12/21/2012 was supposed to be the date of the Mayan calendar, and I said, Alex, what do you think? What's going to happen? And he said, oh, my dear Riz, he says they're interpreting the Mayan calendar wrong. It's not 2012. The guides have already spoken on it. And I said, well, did it already pass? He goes, no, it's in 8 years. And I remember it was summer of 2012. And I said, oh, it's in 2020? Huh. I wonder what that's going to be like. 2020, the numbers seemed like so futuristic to me in 2012. And 8 years seems so far away. I said, are you sure? He goes, yeah. He goes, no one's going to really feel much in 2012. If they do, it's going to be a placebo effect. But the big shift is in 2020, and obviously. Thank you, Alex. Love you. My great teacher. Okay, let's see. Oh, where are we?
You're right here.
Okay, thank you. Let me take a look. Okay, so I'm going into some places. Going. You're all asking such very interesting questions, but I want to go to something kind of personal. Yes. Okay. Hi, Elizabeth. I feel I've done a lot of work with my healing, and I feel I'm at a point of transition. Any insights or advice from my guides to help me with my... You know what? Would you mind reading the questions?
Yes. Which one was it?
I'll just finish this one, then you can read the next one. Any insights or advice from my guides to help me with my next steps or with what's to come? Elizabeth, yes. Give me a moment. The first thing I want to say is that you have done some beautiful work on forgiveness and letting go of anger and some resentment, and that's the number one thing is what I'm going to call that you actually are saving your own health, and you have done this. I have to actually go back 6 years ago with you. If I were to be more specific, 5.5 years ago. So what would that be? What are we, 2023? So that's 2018, beginning of, 2018 is where I see this cycle starting. And as we're coming into the 7th, actually, now we're going to get closer to the course of the next year and a half, getting into where it's much more fruitful and bountiful for you. I do see, and I want to just give you a little prediction here, I do see just this new radiance coming for you, or new radiance, meaning, well, just imagine black and white movie being colorized beautifully and perfectly. That's what I see here. So what's to come for you is, it's more about what you're going to bring, not what's going to come. What you're finally bringing is, you need to start talking and sharing things that you have learned. So that just comes from, you have, give yourself permission now to know that people, sometimes they don't ask for help because they don't even think there is help. And Spirit is going to just place the right words on your tongue to say to the people now, and don't hesitate to do it. In fact, you need to do, might be even a little crazy. You're feeling like you're at the grocery store and you want to say something to someone. Sometimes a smile is all you need, or sometimes a compliment. And then if a conversation strikes up, you say, hey, sometimes I get messages. I just wanted to share this with you. Some people will like it. Some people will feel a little weird about it, but that's how you do it, because what you're doing is you're trying to step into and honor this new energy that's coming for you. Very happy for you.
So we have 2 super chats. We're going to go with Mango in the UK.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Her question is, can you pick between these 2 questions, please? One is, when will I meet my long-term partner? Or what will be my next big spiritual change?
Very quickly, well, I'm not rushing. I'm just saying the answer is coming very quickly. They're both the same thing, actually. Your long-term partner and your next big spiritual change are actually synchronized and optimized for your big version of you. I want to say 5.0. Mango, I don't know if you've ever played any sports, but this is the analogy my guides are giving me to give to you. Or even dancing. But it is about when when some people just dance and they're just listening to the music and they're just bobbing their heads a little bit. Maybe they're not so much into the song. Maybe they have to do something like, maybe they need a couple of drinks, or maybe they need to smoke a joint, or maybe they just need someone just to come and mess up their hair and let's say, hey, loosen up. And then a great song comes on and suddenly they're on the dance floor. And then there's a different energy in the way that they're dancing. You have to let yourself do that when it comes to love, because the energy that I'm feeling is you're kind of like, well, let's see, like the person standing while everybody else is dancing and standing there going, well, I hope, is there someone going to be here that maybe I'll want to dance with? And it's like, no, you go and dance, and then that energy is going to be created all around you and magnetized to you. That's why I say your partner is going to be attracted to being in your sphere and coming right to you the moment that you let go of looking out for them. You have to dance for yourself, baby.
Okay, Shelley, can you advise me as I sell my home and select another?
100% right to you. I wanted to say, by the way, wallpaper is coming back, isn't it? We watch home shows.
Yeah, it is coming back.
Okay, so the first thing that I saw is when you're going to walk into the right house, for some reason I see wallpaper. This could be wallpaper that someone put up already, and you go, oh, I don't like that wallpaper, I want to paint over it. Or you're going to get a vision of bringing some of that classic energy back. The next house has to, what I feel for Shelley was the name you said, right? Yeah, there is Shelley. I feel like there's a part of you that is very traditional and classic, and never sacrifice that just to be in some place that is bigger or more modern or something. You may get that too, but this next place is about you doing it the way you want, what makes you feel good in terms of the decoration. Not, well, what's the latest trend? Let me look in these catalogs, or let me look at these home shows. What are people doing with their kitchens? No. You can take a look at it, but don't let that be the deciding factor. For you, it's about letting the part of you, you're kind of an old soul, and I feel when I say old soul, all I simply mean is that it's like you're subconsciously more aware of all of your lifetimes, where many people aren't aware of past lifetimes at all, or they're aware of like one or two. You can feel like you've been here a while. So you have all of this great history in you to kind of draw from. Also want to tell you that one of your guides is Rodin. You know, I think Rodin was the sculptor. Look him up. But I'm just showing me the visuals of his art. But he's working with you on how to put the right actual... when you walk in, imagine having some sculptures, because you're going to get a lot of spiritual energy from those things. Love to hear about what you think about being that old soul.
So do you feel like you're warmed up enough to open up for super chats?
Sure, let's go for it.
Okay, so super chats can start coming in. We'll do our best to get you guys up at the top. You guys know how it works. The highest amount, you get it first, but we're also going to get as many freebies in there too. It's kind of be equal. But right now, I would like Riz to pick this one.
What? Can you read it?
What? Well,
Q?
Yeah, but the daughter's name, do you
remember?
Yes,
okay.
Okay. What does it mean if you see spirits both negative and positive? And this is for Q's daughter?
Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk about spirits. Spirits are me, their spirits are you. We are our spirits. We are expressing ourselves through a physical body, right? People say, well, there are good people and there are bad people. How do we define good and bad people on planet Earth? Is simply if people harm people unnecessarily or aggressively or take advantage of them, these are what we consider to be bad people. And the people who don't do that are considered to be normal or good. Now, if we see spirits that scare us, does that mean that they are bad? I'm going to quote movies tonight. Do you remember Home Alone? Do you remember Home Alone, the first one? Oh, no, actually, yeah, it was the first one. And in the neighborhood, so Kevin McAllister was left at home. His parents forgot him. This is before cell phones, when everything could have been handled. And there was an old man in the neighborhood that everyone was afraid of. And he had a beard, and every time he would be out on the street, Kevin would run into him and stare up at this old man who had seemed to be very scary. And everything in Kevin's body was so afraid of this old man, because everyone had said this is a bad guy and this guy killed people and stuff, and that reputation grew around this guy. And then in the end of the movie, you find out that actually he was the most loving, sweet person, and he was just trying to make friends. But the way he looked, but then after he changed his opinion, then he wasn't afraid of him anymore. So negative spirits, one thing I want to say, it's very rare for any spirit to actually physically harm you. There have been occasions in paranormal investigations that we've done where spirits have touched a person or shoved a person, but let me tell you, that is 1 out of 10,000 that happens. And probably the spirits that you're seeing or feeling, they're not negative or bad. They cannot hurt you. I want to tell you something. Sometimes our spirit guides, oh yes, sometimes our spirit guides will put on a little show and test you. This is how they train you. If anyone has ever taken martial arts, guess what? Your sensei, oh look, I'm doing my sensei thing right here with this hood today. I have to address this hood because I wore it on purpose. Okay. All right, so your sensei attacks you with the bamboo stick. Your sensei, your karate teacher, comes at you. And let me tell you, I studied it, and it's not funny. They really look like they want to kill you. But what is he doing? He's making a scary face. He's coming at me with a stick, and now I have to just do what he taught me, how to block it. Now, that's what some spirit guides do. Red Eagle, my amazing, noble, wonderful spirit guide, he has taken different forms to train me, where instead of cowering down and closing my eyes, I would just open my eyes and say, okay, what do you want? If I felt that there was a negative spirit. Okay, what's the conversation? Oh, you're here to scare me? About what? What is the problem? What should I be afraid of? You? Why? What are you upset about? When I go into a home, and I actually talk to these troublesome spirits, the ones who are making kind of life hard for the people living in the house. And what Oriah and I do is that we go and we sit for a while. And we first find out if they even want to talk. We might be there for hours before we even are approached by the spirit. And they know when a medium is in the house or an empath is in the house. They know. They get very quiet. We have walked into rooms where literally we felt the energy leave the moment we get in the room. Not because they're evil and we're noble. It's just that they like the advantage of people not knowing that they're there. And then people walk in who know that they're there and are not afraid. And now they're suddenly not so tough or they don't want to talk anymore. But we wait because we're there for a purpose, and we will sit and talk. And just like you would sit and talk with a person, a human being who is acting badly or harmfully to other people, you try to reason with them. So that's what we do, and you will learn over time not to be afraid of them, and that's what will happen.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're waiting for Deanne to ask her question.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Miriam, don't see a question here, but she probably just wants a message. And maybe Deanne just wants a message also. Jessica, what can you tell me about my past lives? Is there any trauma that
Yes,
still
I'd like
needs
to actually
healing?
jump into that one. Hi, Jessica. Great question about the past lives. Let me just give me a moment. That usually comes to me pretty fast about that. Is there any trauma that still needs healing? Okay, so I assume that you're connecting the trauma to past lives. Let's address what that is first, because all messages that are with these kinds of thoughtful questions I have to explain. I don't want to just give you the answer. I want you guys to share and grow in this esoteric, new age, spiritual, old age language and understanding. So when we say we have trauma from past lives, remember something. We're here working on an issue. Earth is a school, so we will come back and kind of address that issue in different ways. For example, let's say that your issue is about acceptance. Part of your soul's path is about, I have to learn acceptance. So maybe one time you come and you're super racist. You're a race. We don't know what race it is, but that whatever you are that lifetime, you're racist towards these other races. Then what happens is you come back as the opposite, because your dilemma still is race, whether you're the perpetrator or you're the victim of it. So it's the two sides of the same coin, and you have to work out understanding acceptance and oneness. So one may say you may have trauma from someone might have trauma from being a racist in a past life, and someone may have trauma from being the victim of racism in a past life. So they're still working it out in this next life. Now, I kind of look at it this way. Think about school. In high school, you always take some form of math class, don't you? You always take some form of English class or some form of science. You have to take that class, whether 8th, 9th, 10th, or 11th, 12th grade. First, 6th, whatever the grades are, you grow and cover different aspects of it. I do see a past life for you that you're going to find I at least find it very interesting, is that I see that you were working with mathematicians, and this, for me, actually looks very Middle Eastern Arab, almost looks so the word algebra is an Arabic word. Look up the roots of that word algebra. It's what they're showing me, all these equations. I don't know how you are at math, or if you're having trouble with numbers this lifetime. Remember, it's the same situation, but you are here to understand. You had a very strong computational mind, and you were working with those people. Those ancient Arabs had amazing contributions to mathematics. Look that up. I see that you were around at that time, and you were kind of a scholar in that area. I'm asking if the trauma was from there. No, there wasn't any trauma in that lifetime, but I wanted to share that with you. That was the visual. The trauma in that you are working out, and I don't know what lifetime it is from, is grief. And it is almost like this feeling of grief that I feel that you have, that you almost can't put your finger on, that it was a specific thing. So I would say that grief is actually your connection, your soulfulness to your empathic nature.
Okay, next question is from Deanne.
Okay.
Lahernitz
Yes.
Hansen. Did my father come through to me as a young woman sitting on the side of the road as my friend and I were headed to the full moon sound
you don't even need to continue. Yes, absolutely. The reason why he was on the side of the road is he was waiting for his ride from his guides, and for you to understand that the road represented the path going to the other side, and that this was just a way of him saying, I'm going to stop on this road. My spirit guide friend is just going to do a loop and come back and pick me up after I give you this message. And when you understand that, actually, let me just do the numbers here. 8/31/23. This is just recently.
So what happened was the father came
Yes,
through
I
to
understand.
her as a young woman.
Yes.
While they were driving.
Yes, we both seen her and with a different look. So whether this was, the whole thing was created visually for you. This is how powerful reality is. It's the only way that I can tell you. That's why we were talking about astral projection earlier. There are people who have astral projected into different forms where they are as 3D as the room that you're sitting in right now. How do we prove it to you? In just a few hours, you guys are going to be asleep. In just a few hours, as you're dreaming, that reality in your dream is going to be just as real as this moment right now. Touch your screen, touch your arm. It's going to be exactly that real, because you have not only felt pleasure in your dreams, you have felt pain, you have felt fear, you have felt anger, you have felt confusion, you have recognized faces, not recognized faces, tried to figure out things in the dream, work things out. And when you wake up, have you noticed? You cannot believe it was a dream. There are times you wake up and you say to yourself or the person laying next to you, oh my God, that was so real. How many times have you said that? Not one time. You've probably said it 1,000 times throughout your life. Now, here's what's interesting. We're intelligent. We're intelligent beings. We have rational minds. We would go, oh yeah, I would recognize if it wasn't just a dream. Yet night after night, we keep waking up going, I can't believe that was a dream. It's because that is a reality that is not your main focused reality. This is your main focused reality here. That's what life is. It's where you're currently focusing. That's why we call it a psychic reality, because it's all about that you are a psychic energy, meaning your intelligence. Okay.
So this one, Miriam Baz.
Okay.
So she hasn't asked the question, but I think she just wants a message from her guides.
Okay, well, Mariam, I would love for you to ask a question.
Well, she hasn't yet, but you know what? A question I'm going to ask for her. Who's her main guide that's working with her right now? That's the feeling I'm getting, that she should know.
Well, the name Joshua just came up.
Okay.
It's the name of your guide.
Okay, so Bernadette...
Right, Miriam, right. You have words to come out of you.
So Bernadette had a super chat. She says her question is, will her health improve? She has mental health diagnosis and live with chronic pain. Body is weak and I get exhausted.
Well, Bernadette, number one, I always say this, is that are you going into the proper healthcare facilitators and practitioners? I'm not against Western medicine, especially when it comes to emergency care. I think there's nothing better than Western medicine in that regard. But you have to go. Obviously, you're watching a show like this. It means that you're more holistically minded. You understand the connection between body, mind, and spirit, and that vicious cycle that happens. If you're sick and tired of life, then you're going to get sick and tired. If you're holding to grief or disappointment or anger, it's going to show up in different parts of your body. I would recommend a book to you first is to read a book by Louise Hay called You Can Heal Your Life. And Louise Hay, who actually, by the way, in the 70s used to go to my teacher, Alex Murray, and a lot of what Alex Murray, and I can finally tell the story, he channeled from his guides, and Louise Hay wrote a lot of it down.
Do you think it went in the book?
Don't get me started. God bless you, Louise Hay, but seriously, you could have thanked Alex in the book for giving those messages to you. Anyway, that being said, read You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay.
So Alex was her chat GPT. That's how she wrote her book. She'd go ask the question, then go back and write her chapter.
I had to think for a moment what that was. Yeah, I got it.
Because
you're right.
That's how
exactly.
people are writing books now. You just write on chat GPT. So
okay, so wait, I want to go back
things
here.
Lined up here.
Someone wrote something here. Oh, that's somebody else. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you have to find, and I believe, a strong either integrative medicine doctor. You should definitely look into Eastern medicine, traditional Chinese medicine. Again, you need to have someone coming in, or maybe two different kinds of healers who are helping you in a more holistic way, because you're clearly connected to your emotional side, your spiritual side, and otherwise you wouldn't be on this podcast. You'd be talking to some doctor podcast. But find that for yourself right now. And as far as you say, is it going to go away? That's how I see it going away. I see that there's going to be these practical steps. So yes, I can always just say yes, but I'm never going to tell it to you just clear across the board. I see it's very dependent on you getting a second wind now, and you deciding that you want to be here and you're here to stay, and that there's still more things for you to hear, see, feel, and experience in this incarnation. This is a big moment for you. You're really releasing. It's almost like depressed about being depressed. Sick. I want you to be sick of being sick. That's better. That has a lot of energy behind it. It's that second wind that needs to come now. And that I do see coming for you. Thank
okay,
you.
so we have Ali
Okay.
L. I'd love to know why I could hear my father right after he passed, but now 5 years later, I can't feel him around anymore. Does he have a message? Thank you.
Okay, so here is what happens sometimes when you, for example, when my mom passed away, I was very young, I was a teenager, and listen, I hadn't really woken up to I never considered myself a medium at that age, okay? Even though I was getting psychic impressions, it never entered my mind that I was a medium. So for the first 3 nights after she passed away, she was literally appeared in my room in the middle of the night. I could feel her hold my hand. Second night, I saw her at the foot of my bed. Third night, I saw her walk across the room and kind of bless me. She did this kind of gesture where she was blessing me. And then I almost never saw her again for 20 years. Now, I think that the grief and the shock of it kind of opened my third eye at that moment. There was an innocence to it. You know how little kids you've heard stories of little kids who were like 4 saying, I saw grandpa standing by the crib and looking after my little brother in the crib. And the 4-year-old never met the grandfather. And the parents are like, oh my God. And the little kid describes the grandfather. So these things happen. Now, I want to say on the technical side, yes, your loved ones are busy on the other side. There's a film called What Dreams May Come. It came out, it was Robin Williams starred in it. It was not a comic role. This movie came and went like 25, 30 years ago. The public didn't get it at all. I got it. I
got it.
Oh, you have to watch What Dreams May
I've watched
Come.
it so many times.
I would say as a medium that 95% of that is accurate from my experience. Okay? And you should see it. It's heavy though. You have to pay attention to this film called What Dreams May Come.
I've had to watch it so many times.
You have to watch it a few times to really, it's like one of those books that you have to read a few times.
Yeah, it's one of the core books you have to read.
It is so powerful, and I think one of the most
definitely
important.
the movie.
Right?
Yeah.
We think it's one of the most important films ever made
Yeah.
on mediumship and the afterlife. So please see that. And I would say this to you is that even from you listening to what I'm saying, this starts to loosen the screws that have been tight. If you go and watch that movie, or you start to remember what it's like to just go into your innocence, do things that bring you to that innocence, of course, you will hear your loved one show up in interesting ways. You have to look for subtle signs. Sometimes it's not just the voice. Sometimes it's a song that comes on the radio that you least expected that they liked. Sometimes you'll smell their cologne, or sometimes you'll see something written on a bus that's going by you on the billboard, and it's a word that they used to say. And it's not the same as hearing their voice, but if you allow yourself to accept those signs as well, you will feel the feeling you're looking for.
Do you need to take a break, or are you okay?
Yeah, I'm going to take a break.
All right. So, we have a lot of questions. We're going to try to get to everybody. Okay, so the next question is from Buckshot.
Wait, I thought we were taking a break.
Okay, so let's take a break.
That was the break. Can you imagine being at a job where that was the break? Your boss is like, so you need a break? Yes, I really do. Cool. Okay, so back to work now.
Oh my God.
You talk about stuff.
Okay, so being a medium. First of all, I want to tell you guys, I never have any desire to be a medium. Ever. Because I'm scared a little bit of talking to people that, like, it will never stop. Like, if I start taking messages, I feel like it'll keep going. But what I notice is that Riz has this amazing ability to shut it off when he's not taking the door's closed, or the sign is off, like the spirits just leave him alone. And a lot of mediums don't have that control, and they struggle with like constantly being bothered by people wanting to give messages to their loved ones. And so it's always very fascinating. And I think it's his chart, because he's a Leo and he has the Scorpio moon, and he, for those of you who don't know him, he has this very strong stubborn streak, but this also
don't.
It's kind of a leadership streak, because that's what it takes. It kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I think that streak is what has him be able to shut the door when it's a no, and he doesn't take messages anymore from the other side.
I've never heard.
So he can just go to sleep, and he could just, not be bothered by spirits. Sometimes, though, he has had like you've been woken up in the middle of the night. We've talked about it before. You've been woken up and you're like, there's a spirit in here. But
Yeah.
it's very rare if it comes in that strong. Sometimes he does see them with his third eye, or he could feel their energy, or even see like a silhouette. I have too, but it's not something I want to turn into a profession, let me tell you. So the fact that you can just go in and just like, sure, okay, I'll take the next interaction, that to me is such a skill. It's like the hot and cold water valves. Like it's a skill of turning it on and off and on and off. It's really interesting. It's really fascinating.
It's a unique combination of characteristics that we all have to have for different professions that we do. There are people who grow up to be wrestlers, right, and fighters, and most of the successful ones, they were wrestling and fighting on the playground when they were 4 or 5. These guys have been doing it their whole lives, or these women have been doing it their whole lives, and they are just naturally that way. They can take a punch, they can take a hit, and where one of us takes one of those and it's over for us, they can take 10 more, and it's just naturally in them.
Yeah.
And I think that there's you kind of have to be born for something. Look at musicians who can tour and go to 100 cities on a tour. I go to 4 cities and it's like it's time to go home, right? And it could be just for fun, not even for work.
Yeah.
These people are working. You may think it's really fun. I have a lot of musician clients who are very well known. And let me tell you, they're made of something because they've been touring for 30, 40 years. And it's city after city on buses and in time zones, and then they have to look good, and people are asking for autographs, and then there's an interview at 2:15, and then 2:46 it's lunch, and then 3:20 they have to go do this other interview, and then they have to go on the radio station, and then they have to talk to their lawyers, and then they have to get ready, get shower, get dressed, and do the sound check for the concert. Then they have to get the concert, and then they have to meet the fans, and then by the time they get back, it's no wonder so many of them are on drugs, because you can't come down from that. We have trouble sometimes, don't you ever? You go to a big party and then you have to come down from it because you were dancing all night. Can you imagine what a professional musician who is playing to 10,000, 20,000, 40,000 people a night goes through?
Yeah.
And for so many years, but it's that they're made of it. It would disintegrate people like you and I. And all the money in the world, believe me, it doesn't change. And I know people like this personally, and it doesn't change anything. Now, like, they have to have their massage every day. They have to have their physical therapy. They have to have all these things, and it becomes... For us, it might be a chore, but they find freedom in it because they're living their truth. They really are. So for me, as a shaman and as a medium, and people say, "How do I do it?" And I'm 54, and how do I do it?
I can't believe you just said that, because I still thought you were 53. I cannot believe.
Wait, am I 53? No, I'm 54.
You are 54. You just had a birthday. I can't believe this. He ages backwards. You're so lucky.
Well, there's a lot of good things like this, right? So being happy is a big part of it, but it also is you have to choose happiness, and I believe that 100%.
Can I give you guys a little relationship tip, a little marriage tip to all you in a relationship or wanting to be in one? We've been together.
I'd like some tips.
We've been together, and we've been together 13 years, right?
Longer.
So, here's the tip.
Longer.
How long?
Wait, you might be right. 13.
So
14? No, 14.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
So, and this is not my first marriage, but this is my last. Here's my tip. You have to be able to tease each other. You have to be able to tease, poke fun,
and take it.
Yeah. And he hates being teased, which just riles me up and makes me want to tease him so much more. So I'm always teasing him, and he always hates it, but he takes it, and then he teases me back. And it's a part of the relationship, and that's what keeps it fresh. And I think that's what keeps it like energized. Okay, so that's your psychic break.
Okay, I want to say to Haley, Haley, came right to me when I saw your chat about who your guides and what message they have for me. So I'm going to tell you 2 guides that are working with you right now. And one of your guides is Yogananda. If you don't know who Yogananda is and was, who he was on the planet and who he is now in spirit, he was a great teacher of meditation, and he promoted meditation here in the West. He wrote a book called Autobiography of a Yogi. When I saw your question, I just saw his face pop in my mind, so I knew he was there for you. And the other thing is I want to tell you is that Haley, you're a fairy in the forest. You need to like go to Ireland and walk around the forests over there because that's your element. You're full of magic, and you have a spirit guide working with you who's playing the violin. Some famous violinist from a long time ago. It's not. I don't think it would be a name that we would know, but I'm looking at them in the garb that they're wearing. For me, looks very European, like ruffled feathers and just man with like a powdered wig, and he's playing a violin, but not a violin like it's a drama story that people, when people go into their drama, somebody pretends like they're playing the violin. No, not like that. I'm talking a beautiful, beautiful like concerto kind of energy. So I don't know if you listen to classical music, but I feel like even if you don't, you should, and find some classical music that moves you in some way, because it's going to cater to and speak to the very dramatic emotional energy that you have inside of you. Maybe find an orchestra piece. The message I'm getting, because I'm connecting it to the fairies, see if there's an orchestra piece that has the word fairies in it, and you need to listen to that music. Close your eyes, light candles, and lay on the bed, go into meditative state, and see if you can see what imagery it brings to your mind.
So we're going to go to Buckshot. Can you
Buckshot.
Can you tell me about my spirit guide? My spirit guides had brain surgery 37 years ago, was diagnosed with arterial venous malformation after seizure, never felt fear, though.
It's funny that you say 37 years ago because you feel very young to me. Like you don't even feel 37 to me. And obviously you are older than 37, but I have to say you're still you're like an adolescent teenager still. Even though all this happened, and you're certainly typing perfectly, unless you're just doing voice to text. Can you tell me about my spirit guides? Sure. Well, the connection to the brain surgery is not, I'm going to separate these questions. I can tell you about your spirit guides that are coming through.
He was 18 at the time, he said.
Your energy, Buckshot, is so young, man. It's so young. You're still 18. You're still 18. In fact, maybe that was why it had to happen, was to keep you at 18. There's a really cool heavy metal song called Hold On to 18. You should check it out. It's from some years ago. It's by a very kind of not known heavy metal band called Black and Blue. They wrote a song called Hold On to 18, and it always stays in my mind. So what 18 even represents? Do you know in numerology, Buckshot, that 18 represents the number 9? Why? Because 1 plus 8 is 18, so you add those together, you get 9. 9 is a symbol of completion, so you're completing a chapter. Just like 27, you know about the 27 Club, all the artists who died at 27, Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, all at 27. Because it was in astrology, that's close to the Saturn return. It's basically where a spiritual rebirth happens, or sometimes a lot of people who've already expended a lot of energy becoming famous on the planet, they leave when they're 27. It's a whole list of the 27 Club. 18 is also a club. So I believe that actually had to do with, and now we're always going to get into some psychic esoteric stuff, but I see Atlantean energy around you, meaning you were a healer. I'd be curious if you could channel some healing energy yourself. I don't see this brain surgery or this thing that happened to you of the arteriovenous malformation as stopping you transmitting energy through you. Yeah. Because you're here. You're still here, man. Whew. Okay. Happy Hippie, I want to tell you what your spirit animal is. You're going to find it funny. Actually, no, they're very, very cute. I just saw 3 raccoons looking at me when I saw that. The raccoon, as your spirit animal, raccoon medicine is about removing masks. And that can be fun because you're revealing different versions of yourself, and they're coming to tell you that these next 3 months are going to be about you coming out more with yourself, Happy Hippie.
Okay, so Miriam did ask her question. She said, may I please know about the current relationship I am in with Luis Martinez, goes by the name Rasta.
Well, you're filling in a lot of gaps for this person. What I would say to you, Miriam, is that you have a capacity to be able to be all things: friend, lover, sister, cheerleader, teacher, coach, antagonizer, activator, disruptor. And that's what you represent here. As long as he's able to receive that and has the freedom to receive that and see you as that, and you don't have a problem being in that, then I think that there is a lot of benefit in this interaction. Okay.
You know, I have a question for you.
Sure.
I just realized something.
What?
Should we, in our Psychic Sundays, should we have themes? So, like, for instance, this would be relationship night, or we'll have a mediumship night.
Sure.
That's a great idea, don't you think? You want to try it? So, like, okay, we can
add a theme now.
We can have a theme, like, on one of the shows, it could be for health. One of the themes could be for money or success. Another one, relationship, twin flames. Another one, just esoteric, spiritual, like spirit guides.
Yeah, we can try that, of course.
I mean, I don't know if it matters or not, but I thought that would be a good idea.
Okay, let me scroll through a little bit so I can feel around. Can I scroll this way also?
Either one. Here, let me, okay.
Hi, Karen. Want to read the question?
Yes. First of all, there's a lot of new people that just came in this last half hour.
Welcome.
I just want to stop for a second and give a shout out to everybody. I want to say hi to Carla and Jessica, Bernadette, of course, Jennifer, Scarlett, Lori, Miriam. Let's see.
SL,
Karen.
I love your book. Well, thank you. Love you too. Do you get any guidance from me? Actually, I'm just going to talk about the book. I think you should read the chapter that I channeled from Martha Washington. I think that's for you.
Okay, so Karen, would you be able to tell me what my psychic gift is? I have had several different instances, but I can't understand what it is and how to harness it.
Well, I'm curious, Karen. Have you gotten messages from your friends, loved ones who crossed over? Because that's what I feel they're trying to come in to talk to you. Your friends themselves aren't even receiving the messages properly, but you are. The other thing I want to say is that you should look into reading bodies, a sort of medical type of mediumship. Learn how to read energy with your hands. I teach people how to do this by passing their hands over the auric field, not touching the body, just above, and becoming very sensitive with your left hand. Left hand is the one that you receive best with. Practice this. Okay.
Okay.
I did that one already.
You did that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
This one just came in.
Sure. Hi, Lawana Peterson.
Is there a clear way to hear my guides? I have asked and my ears are ringing now. I feel something major is happening. My partner of 34 years passed on December 23rd, 2023, and major shifts are happening daily. I think she meant to say
Last year,
2022.
Yeah.
And major shifts are happening daily. Okay. So, do you want to tune in to that?
Yeah, I'm giving it a moment.
Okay.
Lawana, if you could get me the first name, and then I can tune into who I'm. Can you go back to that? I can read the rest of the question.
Yes.
Okay, when you say a clear way to hear your guides, let's talk about this. Even when I listen to my spirit guides, when we say a clear way to hear them, you're not going to hear them the way I'm talking to you right now. Hearing when it comes to spirit guides means receiving information. Hearing does not necessarily mean you're using this ear, your outer ear, or even your inner ear. Sometimes it is a visual. Sometimes it is one of the things I have some of my students do is I have them practice by going into Barnes & Noble, pick a Barnes & Noble in your town, and turn off your phone, go get a coffee or something, and just for the next 2 hours, give yourself this space. If you're serious about this, sit down for a little bit and go into a meditative space. Ask your guides to guide you around the bookstore. You don't know where you're going to go. Just feel. If you feel you're supposed to turn right, get more and more sensitive. Feel if you're supposed to turn left. Go to some aisle. Look down. They'll tell you, 3rd row, 6th book, page 72. You go. You do that. You open page 72. And it's just a paragraph, maybe doesn't mean anything to you. So what? You did it. The whole purpose was for you to start listening. Then you go, okay, where am I guided to next? Oh, I need to go to the children's section. Oh, that's weird. Okay, let me go there. And you're walking through, and then you're doing the same thing again. You ask yourself for which shelf, which book. Feel, you want to go into your feeling body. That's how you begin to feel or hear your spirit guides. There's many things you can do on another practical level. You can work with a shaman and do a plant medicine journey. People who do ayahuasca or do sacred mushroom, they have these experiences where, under a trained professional, they are being able to enter into a realm where they are going more into their experiential, energetic, auric field body and awareness, and allows them in a controlled and peaceful and safe way to be able to harness and open up in this way. Your partner who passed last year, I don't know if she wrote the name down, but I will say,
Let's see, she was here.
Nothing happening. The major shifts, of course, they're happening daily. And that's absolutely your partner working with you on the other side. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. There was someone down here.
Yeah, Rovi. She wants to know if there's any questions for her.
Any questions for her?
She says any messages for
Any
her.
message.
I meant to say messages.
Any message. A question for how are you doing? How have you been?
Yeah.
Okay. Any message for me? Yes. You know, you might be thinking about giving up on Los Angeles, or I feel that it's not totally over for you here, but I do recommend, if you can, look into next year of spending an extended period of time somewhere else working. You say, well, I can, maybe whatever reason you're going to start to say you can't. The message is not about what you can or can't do. The message is about an opening psychically that I see happening in the middle to fall of next year is where I see this happening, this opportunity for you. I was curious if you are interested in going to any kind of school or training again. I think you need to. I think you need to be learning something now. Your mind is getting very ripe for new information. It has so much intelligence that needs to be used, Rovi. You have so much capacity. You have so much brain power. You need knowledge and information.
Okay.
Okay.
Next one.
Wow, let's keep going.
Okay.
Let me see here. Okay.
Some people are asking about retreats, so I'm sending them little
Okay.
links real quick. 1 second.
Sure. Whoops,
this is for Mount
Look at this ring, guys.
Shasta.
I have to talk about my deer ring because we're going to Sedona. I got this ring in Egypt. It's a really cool, beautiful ring. I mean, deer is one of my spirit animals. Another one of my spirit animals is a dragon, so I have a dragon holding a labradorite. Okay, let me go here.
Okay, so Carla.
Well, let me go. That's not where I'm being drawn. I have to go to where I'm being drawn. The guides will always tell me, sorry, Carla. Let's go.
Oh, he's asked several questions.
Okay, give me here.
Did you see
Sorry,
this?
I know some of you are asking several questions, but guys, please understand that if I don't feel the answer coming to me immediately, I don't waste time in that moment. The owl wants to know is if the mermaid is her spirit guide. Isn't the owl your spirit guide? But I'll tune in for you. Actually, I do. Well, that's interesting. The mermaid for you represents your most magical side of halfway human, halfway animal, beast. That means connecting your supernatural and your natural, connecting your spiritual and your material, connecting your divine and your earthly. This is what is happening to you right now.
This just came in. I don't know.
Let me see here. Maybe I need to go over here now because I can't read those fully, those questions. Okay. Hi, Jennifer. You want to read her question?
For over the past year, I see 808, and all throughout the day, I keep seeing the word Hawaii, as well as people wearing shirts with Hawaii, as well license plates. What is up with Hawaii in me?
Actually, it's about what was there before Hawaii, which was Lemuria. It's not about Hawaii that you have to go live there. It is about, I said two things. Something that's very ancient, which is Lemuria. You need to kind of look up what that is and was. And number two, it is about what Hawaii represents to you. And the energy, feeling, vibration, and emotional kind of experience of what it is like to see that. And no, this has nothing to do with the disaster that happened in Maui. Not at all. This is something else. This is about what Hawaii represents, which is that, look, there's many different islands, and many islands in Hawaii, they say represent the different chakras. So this is about fun. This is about vacation time. This is about you reminding yourself, Jennifer, that life is supposed to be fun. By the way, do you know how to do, I have this question, do you know how to do hair and makeup on other people? Because your guides are telling me you have a great sense of knowing what looks good or knowing what will fit another person. You should use that talent or that ability and apply it in any way. It doesn't have to be in the beauty industry, but it could be in another place where you know what works for this person. Okay. Let me see here.
There's one there.
Let's see here. Yeah, come to Glastonbury. Someone said I'm thinking about Glastonbury. You absolutely should. Okay. Okay. Hi, Shannon.
How can I best serve others? I've been lost in life and be overwhelmed for far too long, but I'm passionately interested in learning as much as possible regarding spiritual awakening, Gaia, and mystical.
Probably mystical thought. Right. I don't know why it cuts off sometimes.
I know, I think it only gives
I get the picture. Hi, Shannon. I love that you're passionately interested in this. It means that it means something to you. It means that you have been, probably were like this your whole life. You're giving yourself permission now to do this. So the question was, I've been lost in life and been overwhelmed for too long. But that's what it takes, right? You have to get overwhelmed with something, especially if you're super sensitive, and that usually leads to being super stubborn, and you have to soften up, even though you go, but I'm such a softie, and does anybody know it? It's like a lot of the hardest people are really soft inside. But your softness is actually your strength. Your sensitivity is actually your strength when you know how to channel it. The best artists, the best healers, the best anything, the best chefs, they're the best because they're the most sensitive at it, but know how to channel it out. They're not so sensitive that they crumble in on themselves. So your big spiritual awakening is the fact that you realize that you're passionately interested in learning so much about mysticism, which is truly about studying the joy and the magic of life, right? And how everything is interconnected. So continue with reading and watching everything that you can. And serving others is easy, guys. Serving others is easy. You put so much pressure on yourselves that you have to have a career in service. Well, in the beginning, when you're doing things that are kind of metaphysical, you give it away. And of course, you're allowed to make a living off of it. I want everybody to make a living any way that you want to make a living. Great. But even if you're baking pies, eventually the first thing is you have to give somebody a taste before you have a pie shop. So this is part of what it takes to even serve others, is that you have to get past this idea that it has to look a certain way. You can serve others right now, guys. You can probably pick 3 people that you know could use a phone call, and you could get off this podcast at the end of it, of course, not yet. And then you can call them and tell them you love them, or tell them I'm here for you. That's the way of serving others. You can put change in people's parking meters so they don't get tickets. You can paying a toll, pay for the person behind you. You pay it forward. These little things add up, my friend. These little things add up, and you will be out of this thing. Okay.
So just so you know, Jennifer Whitmore, you answered her question.
Yes.
And she said she loves fashion. So that was
awesome. Okay, cool.
Here's a couple other questions that are coming in.
Okay, I just answered that person. I have to go to somebody else.
Okay. So
hey, Owl, she says just vibrations moving in her body to her face and feet. That's a great confirmation. Okay. Let me see here. Is that... Hi, Shine. Here's a question.
Is there anything for me? If not, it's okay. I still love you.
Oh, I had to answer just because you put "wov" instead of "love." It's so funny. That's why I got the feeling I need to answer that. Is there anything for me? Meaning a message for you. Yes, Shine, there is something for you. It's interesting. What's coming to me is that I want you to visit antique shops. Do you like antiques? What I'm getting is that, did you feel something? Is that why you said something?
No, it was interesting.
Okay.
I like
Why-
that. I don't know. I just
well,
liked
that's-
it.
well,
I just felt it.
This is how it goes, right?
I felt the energy of that.
So you need to be around things with a history and not the same old stuff. Like, not malls are fun, but that's not where antiques are. You have to go into some of those antique markets, or they're like antique malls where they have a building that usually is kind of like old fashioned, but then there's all these booths that people are selling their stuff in, but there's nobody there. It's just one antique manager, and you go and you take the number of a thing you like. I'm not telling you to buy antiques. I'm just telling you to go in and feel. You need to be in an environment, almost like you need to be in more magical things. I'm so glad Halloween is coming up. Go to some haunts, go to some magic castle, go see a magic show. Bring yourself into more of a storybook setting is what I'm seeing for you. That's what your guides want you to do right now. Okay. Yeah, hi, T-Med.
Hi, I was wondering about a connection I have with a man named Gary and what he is in my life for. It's a long story.
Well, this is about learning trust. The first thing I get is it's about learning trust. It is about how far you can be pushed before they say sometimes connections are like a piece of cheese on a pizza. Like, you can stretch it all the way out and it just keeps going, getting thinner and thinner, but it never breaks. This happens with some relationships. What I see about this person and you, T-Med, is that, and I want to be very specific with you, okay, that this trust has to do with, it's almost like there's a sibling relationship here, and then there was a romantic connection here, meaning that type of relationship. Do you understand? And this seems to be very strong past lives. The other thing I wanted to ask you is, have you traveled at all to South America? Because you had a very strong past life with this person there. Maybe you've been there with them. The other thing is that this person really needed almost like physical healing, and that you offer that through your energy. I don't know what kind of bodily or health issues this person had, but you balanced this person through your own energy.
What about this question?
Sure.
Okay, so this is for Lori B. I would love a message if my guides need me to know something. I know they are trying to get my attention. I'm listening, but I can't hear anything.
Lori is the name?
Yes, Lori B.
Lori, do you like essential oils? I'm getting that you need to have some sort of tactile through fragrance and breathing in. Like, I almost feel like your sinuses are stuffed up or something, and this congestion is happening in your physical body. Find some pure essential oils. There's great companies. There's Young Living. There's is it Gaia? Gaia is a company also.
I think so.
But just make sure that they're absolutely 100% pure, and maybe have an array of them. Rub them in your hands. Put your hands like this, and really breathe them in. And your guides are telling me this is about. It's almost like bringing you into the garden. I do feel there's a grandmother energy around you that is just really loving on you and hugging you and bringing you into this garden. And you have a guide. She has a French accent. She's like a... Yeah, she has like a French accent. She's talking to me right now. And she knew you. She was a sister to you. She's the one trying to communicate with you. She was a sister to you, and you had a past life in France. It wasn't aristocratic. It was a very simple existence. But I do see that you worked in the fields. You worked with nature. You had a very, very green thumb in it.
Okay, so
I'd like to hear if that makes any sense to you.
were you getting anything on... She asked a question.
Yes, I did that one already.
You did that one?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so a bunch of new ones came in
Okay.
here.
Right, I want to go back here.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. How did I get out of that? There we go. Hi, Sarah. You're going to meet us in Salem? Awesome. You're going to get messages when we're in Salem. We're going to be walking down the street, and I'm going to be giving you messages. Okay, let me see here. Jennifer had said, I'm a psychic medium, channel, and healer, and I have a passion for beauty, and I love beauty in action. Well, I'm going to tell you, Jennifer, real quick to go back to you, like you could do somebody's hair and you're going to get even stronger messages because through your fingertips. Shelly, Thieves is a good blend of oils. Really good for when you're sick. Thieves oil. Do you know the story of Thieves oil?
We used to use Thieves oil.
Yeah, so Thieves oil was, there was
we used to do cloves.
Well, it's a mix of five different oils.
Oh, okay. The cloves
and the reason they call it Thieves oil is because there were, during the plague, they were having grave robbers, okay? So people were dying of the plague. During that time, crime is going on. People are robbing graves to get the jewelry or things people are being buried with their bodies. And they caught the thieves who were robbing these graves. And what they couldn't understand was how come they weren't getting the plague too?
Oh.
And they were using this blend of oils.
Wow.
So they threw them in jail and took their oils, and now we're enjoying them for $24.99.
Well,
okay.
I need to get that again.
doTERRA, that's the one. Yes.
Yeah, doTERRA is.
Yes. Thanks, Nikki. Okay, let me see here. Deanne, you did hair for 40 years now. Now you understand the connection. Your fingers were in their crown chakra. But it's so important for you guys who are doing hair and makeup. You have to sage every day because you have to clear that energy off of you by the end of the day. Okay. Let's see. Shannon said, she didn't expect a response. Thank you, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful also. I truly am. Okay. Let's see.
I'm just in silence, taking a little breather right now.
Why don't you talk? Because I'm going to take a break for a second.
The energy is like, whoo. You know what? I want to try something. I want to do a test right now. Okay? I want, out of the themes that I told you earlier, I want you to pick one of those themes right now and see if people have questions in those themes.
Let's do mediumship, people who passed away.
Okay, so you heard the man, so we're going to do...
If you have a loved one who passed away.
Loved ones right now. I'm going to see how it goes to do themes, so let's try this out. If you would like a message from a loved one, please put your message here and we will get to those. And I know there's a delay, so we're going to wait for that.
Sure.
Thank you, Scarlett, for the love.
Hold on, I missed something here. Oh, you have the Lemurian lifetime? Yeah, telling you.
So, I know some people had other questions. I know there were past questions that are not in the theme we were talking about, but I just want to test it out. I want to test out this being in theme. Because if it works, then we can do our Psychic Sundays and have a theme for that night. And it's
okay,
great.
it's just started. Okay, here we go. SL, any message from my dear friend Scotty B? Yeah, give me a moment. And Sharat, just wanted to say quickly, your cousin, I feel like your cousin, Sharat, that you mentioned, there was some wild streak or something internally that was happening, because I feel this death was very premature, and I feel that this was could have even looked like, how did this even happen? I don't know if this was an accident or this was something that has completely shocked people that this happened and came out of nowhere. But I feel number one is that he as a soul did not think, he knew that there was a very strong possibility that he wasn't going to make it to an old age, but he is okay. Okay. Angela, yes, I'm stopping at yours. Guys, I'm going to stop where I feel the spirit coming through. So yes, from Grandma, your Thelma, yes, give me a moment because she's Very, very strong coming through. Have to tell you, she is, she looks like a queen. She looks like a queen. I think this is something she always wanted to experience, was to have tons and tons of wealth and tons, like she's like aristocratic now as she's coming through. Like the ballroom doors have opened and she's coming through with this blue velvet gown and all the jewels and everything, and she's coming through to say, "Hello, darlings," like that. This is who she's stepping into being. She wants you to know that I don't know. Do you have have you been thinking about getting like your belly button pierced or something pierced? Because she's talking about this, or you did it and she's commenting on it. I don't know what that's about. Obviously, as a medium, I don't know all the personal stories. The other thing I want to say is that she's talking about somebody who's either afraid of going on roller coasters or really loves to go on roller coasters, but she's kind of poking fun at that because she's saying that over here on the other side, she's like, she's too sophisticated to do that. She's very sophisticated now, Angela, and she wants you to have fun with thinking about her that way. Also, last thing I want to tell you is that she really believes you're supposed to be an entrepreneur. And I don't know if you've started your own business yet, but that is for you, and it is time to get cracking on that if you haven't paid enough attention. Let me know how that message is for you. Yes, SL, about your friend Scotty B. He's talking about when you get nervous. It's interesting. He's going right into when you get nervous, or when you, he's there when you, I don't know if you bite your nails or you have some nervous habit, but he's talking to me about when he's there, like at, when you sit on the floor. At first I thought you were sitting on the bed, but he's showing when you sit on the floor. It's in that moment when you're almost dropping in that he kind of sits right next to you. Also, he's talking about campfires. Do you guys go camping or something together? Did you light bonfires? Are you planning to do that? He's talking about that, having a lot of love and energy around for you. Also, the month of August that just passed, he's putting a big heart around that. That's usually a birthday or an anniversary of someone close to him, and he's putting love around that right now. Let me know. And guys, when I give you that message, I'd love to always hear the feedback, because it's good to make those connections and I can go deeper for you.
Angela said she's trying. From her grandmother's message about probably entrepreneurship.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Jennifer. We appreciate you too.
Appreciate you too, sister. Come join us. No, he hasn't reincarnated, Sharath. I don't get that at all. Okay, hold on a second. I want to go to someone I haven't gotten here. Someone I haven't gone to yet. Yes, Luana. Yeah, I'm stopping at you. I'm only stopping where it comes right through. Your father. Do you know if he had musician friends? Because there's people around him right now that are from that background. Also, there's somebody here on his side with him that couldn't hear, or was deaf in one ear, or maybe something happened to their ear, but they were hard of hearing. That person is with them also. And also somebody who had a blood kind of illness, I don't know if that's leukemia or something, is bringing that up as well. Also talking to you about wow, there's a few talking at once. Just give me a moment. April is the month he's bringing up right now. Unless there's a person named April. I don't know, but just said April. Yeah. I want to tell you something about the time he's been spending with his guides, because that's what he's bringing up for me right now. By the way, were you looking at pictures of him recently? Or something that he made? Because he was watching you do this. Also, he's making fun of... He's not making fun of, but he's making a joke. I don't know what the story is about you're not satisfied with things in the kitchen. Is this you don't... the appliances, or you want to renovate it or something? But he was around there for that. But doing very, very well. I'd love to know if you know what he's talking about, Luana. Thank you for the happy belated birthday. I don't know if that's to me or somebody else. No, SL. Okay. The raccoon energy feels right. People project onto me and I miss from me. Got you. Okay.
And also, who was it with her grandmother? Was it Tiffany? She said that she was very fancy and her son likes roller coasters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Who is it? Oh, Angela.
Grandma loved to be fancy. Great.
Right,
okay.
Right. So,
yeah, really fancy, right?
So this one.
Mariam. Okay, now you have a question, Mariam. Good. My mom passed away from breast cancer at 9, when you were 9 years old, right? Okay, so is there a message she wishes to share with me? Much love.
I'm going to turn the air conditioning down.
You're going to turn the air conditioning down?
Yes.
Oh, look, when I go like this, there's a light behind my head. It looks like light is coming out of my head. This is, look, it's the psychic aura coming to life on camera. You know what's funny? I'm saying that. I always find that I never say anything random, and this is how I flow with my messages. As I'm making these jokes, I feel like your mom actually touches your head, Mariam. And she's almost like putting her hand through your hair, and she's like, I don't know if you don't let yourself grow your hair long or something, but she's like going through. She's putting, I mean, I don't know what you look like, but she's going like through like this. She just thinks you're beautiful. She wants you to know you're beautiful. She wants you to know you're beautiful. She wants you to know you're beautiful and that this is important. And to cherish each stage of your life. Have you ever Mariam, have you ever thought about going into some sort of like giving? Did you ever doing psychotherapy or doing any kind of things that are counseling? Young people could really use you around them. You would be a good mentor for them. That's what she's saying. Hi, Allie. T, any messages from my son Nick? So sorry to hear that he crossed over, but you know, there's no such thing as eternal death. No, my friends. I will tell you this with a smile and an intention for the rest of my life. I will tell you this. Yeah, so give me a moment. Nick. You know what's interesting is that what I'm seeing now, what he's showing to me, is that he's part of a tribe on the other side. Almost like I can't even describe it with any ethnicity here, but if you were to combine like African and Fijian and Samoan, it's Samoan. It looks Samoan to me. It's kind of that energy, and he's part of this tribe. And I see the markings on the face, almost Maori. Mix all those types together. I want to talk about who the environment and who the people were around him in the last moments. And I feel like, I don't know if you got to him or not, were not able to get to him. Could you answer that for me, please? Because I need to clarify what that means. Allie. What was this with the breath? Was this, by the way, had something to do with being asphyxiated?
So Miriam said yes. about her mom touching her hair. She always had short hair when she was growing up. And then also she said, thank you so much for that message. I love being around kids. In fact, I was just at a vision board workshop mentoring kids.
I love it. Thank you.
Do you want to look through these?
Yes, thank you. Can I scroll down here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, okay, that was where you just were.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My kitchen needs a lift. The fridge is acting up, Luana. So your dad is like your house manager. Guys, your loved ones are... I just want to say something. They're not at the cemetery. They're not in the urn. They're not there just when you're crying or thinking about them. They're often there when you're doing the most random things, like you're in your kitchen going, why is this fridge not working? And they're like right there going, I love watching them be normal. That's because your relationship is based on joy and love. They already know on the other side that you're all going to be together. It's just a matter of time. And when you finally get there and you're all together on the other side.
Can I add something?
Yeah, of course.
Because I've lost my parents and I've lost some loved ones. I just wanted to say that some of the guides that Riz has channeled has said something that has brought me so much comfort in this area. So your higher self, we all have higher selves. So that's like our angelic self, are actually living, creating the version we're doing here now in this dimension and other dimensions, living on the other side, quote unquote, that dimension where all the souls go, you know, wherever that, what 12th dimension, who knows what dimension,
right? Who knows
what do you guys call it, heaven, whatever, right? So what is going on is, let's say somebody lost their father and their father is missing you and you're the daughter. Mm-hmm. Do you realize and do you know the big universal joke, the big sense of humor that God has is that your higher self, you, is standing next to your father right now, looking at you in the 3D flesh,
right.
having a joke and
Right.
laughing about how wonderful this is. And yet it's sad for us because we think they miss us, they can't see us, they're so far away from us. They do probably miss the idea of living in that lifetime with you and be able to touch you, but they're with you. Your version of yourself, your higher self version, is living with all the people that you've lost. They're with you. And when I found that out, that was like probably one of the biggest sighs of relief that I had, was to know that they are not missing me and away from me and longing for me. They miss me in the sense like they can't wait for me to come join the party, but they're with my ultimate self, my higher self is with them.
Right. Jennifer, Sergio is doing really funny dance moves around you to make you laugh. I don't know what the connection to that is. Just want to let you know. I do want to say over here, look what SL wrote. She responded about the message. My birthday was in August, and my desk is really low, and I sit on the floor working on my computer. Thank you. Okay, awesome. This is I like to read, you know,
The Martha Washington
because you
message
can't hear
resonates.
people. So I'd say the message, then you write back about what connects. Great. I love that. Yes, we will do a show on spirit animals. Someone asked me.
Yes.
That is? Okay. Let me hear. See what else I got over here. Thank you. Happy belated. I'm August 20th. You're August 31st. I'm a Leo. You're a Virgo. Okay, let's see here. Shannon says, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for taking the time off while you were both in Sedona. Sure. We wanted to do this. We don't. Jennifer says, LOL, he was always doing that with his goofy socks on. He's still doing it. Clearly. How about we do one more, okay?
Let's do...
We already did that person.
Okay.
They asked a question. If you asked a question, I do have to be fair and go to a person who didn't get a question yet. Riz got that glow like Bruce Leroy. Who's Bruce Leroy? Well, I don't know. I should know that, right? I don't know what that means. But thank you. Okay, let's see.
I don't know what that means.
But thank you. It could be a horrible thing, right? Okay.
A glow is not a horrible thing.
Okay. Harmony, Mind's Eye, Loveolution. Love the names people come up with on the internet. Hell yeah, do it. Any messages from my 8-year-old niece? Skylar is her name. Okay. And Skylar is her name, my 18-year-old niece. Yeah. I feel it. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting to her.
He meant Bruce Lee.
Oh, Bruce Lee.
Not Bruce Lee,
He's
right?
talking about, yes, no, Bruce Lee. He's referencing a movie from. Oh, see, now I know how old you are. She's referencing a movie. Thank you. Shame on me for not remembering that. Okay. Okay, let me see.
Thank you, Chris, for talking about the density. If I am a big fan of Jane Roberts, and I read Seth Speaks, and she wrote a book called Oversoul 7, actually. So she was probably talking about that 7 density.
Okay, let's see. Okay, let me go back to Skylar. Yeah. What an angel. Always was, really. Didn't really come to be a person. That's why it didn't work. That happens with some people. They are very much in the angelic realm. They come in here and it's kind of a mess because it's just... But you go, well, then what was the purpose of that? The purpose for us to feel love and love them and open our hearts. And that was the purpose. That was her purpose. She's a big cheerleader now for you. Like got the pom-poms out and everything. Curious, do you have her earrings? I don't know what that's about. Or did you give her earrings?
She's new.
No, it's not news. We did that person already.
Oh.
Thank you guys. We're so happy to be here.
Did you read that?
Yes.
Okay.
That is okay. So Ali says that is correct, and yes, he stopped breathing. Yeah, I'm sorry, but he's good now. And don't worry, when it's your time, you'll be together again. We also want to say one thing quick, Ali, is far corner of the living room, enter into the living room, go all the way over to the left side. So if you're coming in, it's like a clock. There's something at 11 o'clock to 10 o'clock that he's pointing to that has a lot of energy. I don't know what it is, but let me know. Wait, I'm going the wrong way. Sorry.
Yeah, the Seth Books collection. I like how you call it a good starter series.
Starter?
That's for like the masters.
No, it's a starter
class.
and it's where you end.
Yeah, because you actually have to reread it like 100 times.
You have to
I mean, it's so dense. And
Envy has a great question. Does someone always come through in readings? Are some souls, what does that say? Not around. Is that what that says?
Yeah.
I can't see because of that heart.
yes,
Not around?
Yeah.
Of course. So let me tell you, it's a great question because there are readings, and I always tell people when I do a private reading, it's on my website. No medium can ever guarantee that a soul is going to come through that you're in the reading for. You have to always say, we ask people, send a message in your mind, in a prayer, in a meditation. You have a psychic reading coming up. Say to them, hey, auntie or mom or dad or friend or brother or sister, whoever it is, can you please on the 20th show up at 8 o'clock when I have this reading? Can you pass something on to me? That's what I ask people to do. But it still may not work because there is a higher ruling of when you're supposed to get a message. There really, really is. And we have to, unfortunately, and just bow our heads to that reality of it. There are a few rules I have noticed with mediumship. I tend to have a general rule of waiting 3 to 6 months for any message from anyone who passed away. Sometimes they never come through. And it'll be there. You're at a mediumship reading, wanting to hear from your mom, and it's like your 8th grade teacher comes through, or your friend's dad comes through, or your cat comes through, but your mom doesn't. And
so Ali said, large photos of him is him skateboarding far left in the living room.
I don't know if it's Ali or Ali, but for some reason I think it's Ali. So I had said to Ali, I said her son was coming through and saying something in the far left side of the living room is he's showing a lot of love and energy around it, and she's saying there are large photos of him skateboarding. Isn't that amazing that they do that and they point and show that?
Before you look at this and take another question, I would like you to share some piece of information that also has brought me peace.
What is that?
In the crossing over. So when a young person in a family dies and crosses over, like somebody under the age of, let's say 16, 17, like a young person, I've heard you give this message to so many parents, and it's such a conversation that I can't, as a mother, I can't even imagine being in that situation. So I've heard the messages, the channeled messages, and the messages you've given mothers and fathers and parents and siblings of why a young soul comes into a family.
Yeah.
And then why they choose to leave early, even if it's at 3 months old or 3 years old or 10 years old.
Yeah.
The impact that they made on that family, and that they were such, and they're always the same story. They were such a light, and they brought so much to the family. And
not always. Are you kidding?
the way that you described
Well,
it,
maybe in our sessions, but look, I've had family members in my own family that were nothing but, and I say this with love, were nothing but a pain in the ass and trouble since the day they were opened their mouths.
right.
Yes, I said it, and it's true.
Yes,
doesn't
but
mean there's any lack of love, but I mean, let's be real here. We can't.
But that's not what I'm talking about.
I know.
That's another topic.
But you said, I just
That's
wanted
a
to say,
separate topic.
you said that it's always that when they die young. No, it is not. But it's okay. It's just karmic.
How about we talk about what I'm asking?
Well, what are you asking?
Okay, so I've actually heard you talk about how these young souls come into a family and they change the family's lives. And then when they leave, it's like they never intended. See, I'm giving your answer for you because this is how stubborn he is, you guys. I deal with this all the time, all day long. So what happens is they come in and they uplift and they do all this beautiful, loving magic to their family, and then they leave. And you've said many times, and I've heard it many times, that these souls never intended to come here for longer than that.
Yes.
That was their soul's intent,
True.
to visit your family, your soul group, and you guys are all friends on the other side, and you're all soul groups on the other side. And they come in with the intent of only being here 3 years or only being here 7 years. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the parents feel so guilty they did something wrong and they wish they could have done something more. It's also something that gives me a lot of relief to know that a young person, because they're ageless on the other side. So when they come through and they leave early, it's because they actually predestinated. They have chosen to leave when they left at that time. And there's reasons. There's reasons for them as a soul in their own soul growth. And there's reasons they do it for you and your family and your soul growth. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it gives you guys an exponential lift.
This is the contract, though. You see, that's what the soul contract is.
Yeah.
And as that soul contract is played out, hopefully we have the wisdom and the peace of mind or the guidance from people around us to understand that there's a certain you can relieve some of your pain by understanding soul contracts. So I said some of your pain. You're never going to get over the pain of losing someone. But what this does, it helps take the sting off of the pain, if I can tell you it too that way. Like, you'll still have a pain, but that extra sting goes because you're more spiritually sober and dropped in. Nairobi said, making jokes about my Scorpio moon. Okay, so what I do want to say is
sorry that about that, Jennifer.
They are the activator disruptor, that person in the family. When she says they came in and they know that they're there to do that, there is a super consciousness, the soul level, they know it. They don't know it on the earthly level. So the person who is going to pass away at a young age, they don't usually know.
But their higher self.
But their higher self knows.
Well, that's
yes.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Their higher self.
And the family's higher self
And
knows
the
it too.
family's higher self
and there's
knows.
the agreement.
So, I just want to say, because I'm an empath, I'm a Taurus, I'm very sensitive, I have 5 children. I feel a lot. And like just reading through these chats, and I feel everybody's loss. I feel each and every burn, sting. It takes everything I have to like not cry for every single one of you. And I just feel it so deeply. Thank God he has a different demeanor, that he can handle these conversations. But I just want to say that it's through these channeled messages, and it's through the things I've seen all these 13 years, or actually more. But what I've seen is that there's so much peace when you realize that there's so many soul agreements and so many soul contracts that we all have on the other side, and that there's no accidents, and there's no there's been messages I've seen where people come through and they're just like giving a confirmation to their sister, like the freezer with the Twinkies. So they'll give
Oh, yeah.
It stands out for me because it was so special. And here's what happened. This woman said, do you have a message for my sister? And Riz goes, I don't know, I'm seeing frozen Twinkies. Does that make any sense? And she burst out crying and laughing. She goes, that's all you have to say. I'm good.
Yeah, she didn't even want the rest of the reading.
She didn't need the rest of the reading. She got up and she was free because she knew her sister was still with her. See, I have chills right now, and I'm going to start crying.
They used to freeze Twinkies together. Now, here's what's funny is that this is when I was first starting out, and I was doing this reading, and I thought, it's okay, honey. I thought that
Well, at least
my mind was drifting. I thought my mind was drifting. I'm like, why am I thinking about frozen Twinkies? So I just took a shot and said, I keep thinking about frozen Twinkies. And that was it. And that's the greatest thing about mediumship readings is that, I mean, I value traditional therapy in some aspects, but I'll tell you something. I don't care how many traditional therapy sessions you go to about someone crossing over and you feel so alone without them. And then you go to a good medium and they tell you something like the frozen Twinkie thing. And you're just like, oh my God, they really are around.
Yeah.
And
it always is constantly surprising us, even though we know. And, the other thing I found out, and I'm finding out, is that, and this is another conversation, we can't even get into it because it's too deep, is that they're with us in spirit, as you know, but it's like they're living simultaneously. It's like their dimension is blended in, like almost holographically with our dimension. So they're never away from us, which is the most mind-blowing thing because we can't see them, so it's so unfair. But if you look at this life we're in here, this 3D life, this is kind of like our, when you go to sleep at night and you have dreams, so you're in your dream state and you're projecting a whole life and it's very detailed. That's kind of like what this 3D reality is. You're actually like projecting this dream. It's like a dream, but it's very concentrated and very detailed, so it's like very consistent every single day, every year. And so you feel like this is all there is. But of course, you're multidimensional. You guys know, if you don't know, and that's another topic. But so when you have spirits on the other side and they're communicating with you and they're talking to her, they're tickling you, or you feel them near you, or you feel them and you burst into tears, it's because they literally are with you. It's not a dream. It's not a joke. It's not a pretend wish. It's an actuality. There's much data. There's much proof on this matter. And that all these things help bring so much peace to people when they just start to know that if you go in and start to learn how to tune in and learn how to feel and learn how to become more sensitive, you can start to feel this person that you lost, that you want to feel. You can tune in and feel this person. My mom, she crossed a couple years ago or a year ago. She was like bothering me like all the time in real life when she was here, and she still bothers me.
She still bothers you.
Side. I'm like, Mom,
she has not given it up.
Mom, give me a break. I just need some space. And it's really funny because we have this kind of sense of humor with each other, and she's living her best life now. She's like,
I call it living her best afterlife.
She's kind of like Zsa Zsa Gabor, like that's her thing, like.
Someone who just says about Zsa just said, again, I'd like to see my signature on the contract. When you die, they actually do show. Red Eagle said they actually do show you the contract, and they actually will also show you like a little video of you signing that contract in your last lifetime. It's that funny and wild on the other side, and that literal, because they know how we think. Like, we always want this proof. I didn't sign that contract, and they go, here it is, and here's a video of you doing it. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to do one more, okay?
Okay.
That's what I'm feeling. I'm going to scroll back. Light inside. Want to read the question?
If my dad would like to come through to tell me anything, I would love it.
Yeah.
If not, it's okay. Thank you.
This name Joseph is around your father also. I'd like to know what your dad's name is, though, if you could tell me. Light inside. Yeah. A couple of things here. I have to go piece by piece. The family, I feel a lot of struggle in this family in general. And I feel that there's such good hearts in this family. I feel that there is, you know, him not being there, it was a massive loss. Of course, anyone loses a father, it's a massive loss. But look, I'm being very specific to you and how this, some people lose a parent and then the family rebuilds and things. And I just feel a lot more struggle in this family. I also want to say that he wishes he could have left more money. I don't know if this is, he's showing me money, like he wish he could have left more money for you guys. But when you play or sing music, Light Inside, I don't know your name, so I'm just going to call you Light Inside. What a beautiful, that would be a great name, Light Inside. Is that you, when we sing and open up this part of the chest and it's like opening up the throat and the heart chakra, it's like you have to sing. I hear, I love Patti LaBelle. You know Patti LaBelle? Love her voice. Love her, what energy. But it's like that kind of bursting, soulful voice. By the way, here's what's really funny. Your dad has seen James Brown on the other side. Isn't that funny? From Patti LaBelle, and he's just like, and I've seen James Brown on the other side. You make sense of that for me, what that's about. As I just heard the word, you know when James Brown sang the song, I Feel Good? Your dad feels good on the other side. It's like coming back and saying it's time for you to know that in the years that you have left of your life, you have to celebrate. You're a good person, and he's saying this, you're a good person, like celebrate. It's like this was your soul contract with him. But he wants you to feel good. He wants you to bring that vibrancy of life force back to you, because that's the true energy of this family. But I feel like this family went down, and I feel like it's split in some ways. And I just feel like there's a lot of communication and talk and clearing of the air that needs to happen. So that'll take some time. If that makes sense to you, please let me know in the messages.
Well,
Ooh, a night.
I want to do a little. Well, let me talk a little bit while you read to see if you want to close or not. I want to do a little announcement. So on the 23rd, Riz is going to be headlining and channeling at the Gaia Sphere in Colorado.
Yeah, I'm one of the 5. They brought the 5 channelers in the world that they love and or like or respect or whatever. I'm so honored to be a part of it. It's me. It's Daryl Anka, who channels Bashar. It's Paul Selig and Wendy. And I don't know what's happening. Maybe it's late right now. I can't remember. But it's on the 23rd. And they're doing the Global Channeling Conference. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be in live streaming as well. You can't get tickets to the theater. That's been sold out for months. But there's a live stream that you can watch all day long. So go look into that. Yeah. And I'm going to be opening. I'm the first channeler of the day. You
know what? Let me send them a link to that very thing, to that event. And
I think you have to be a subscriber to Gaia.
Right.
And you have to join. This is how they do it, guys. I mean, look, we don't make the rules, but Gaia is worth subscribing to. Are you kidding? It's an incredible.
You're subscribing to the whole year, basically.
Yeah, and so you get all the programming for the year, and then you
Right.
get to watch this live stream. So that's how they're doing it, and I think it's really good because we need to support things that are here to open our minds and challenge the definitions and push the boundaries. And Gaia has the wildest things on there to things that you have been talking about for years. So we should support Gaia because there isn't any other streaming service like this. And who else is going to do this?
Oh, someone's asking if we're going to be on YouTube after that. So that on the 23rd falls on a Sunday, I believe.
No, it's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday. Okay, so yeah, as long as we're not actively in a conference or something.
Or on a plane. I think we'll be home though. I think we're going to be home. We'll be back at home.
Yes, so this is every Sunday. This is Psychic Sunday. Normally, if you go back to our YouTube channel, you can see our past Psychic Sundays. We just started. This is our 5th episode, and we are testing out a lot of things. It's really exciting. So we're doing super chats. Tonight was kind of low on super chats. Totally fine. This is actually good for you guys to see that it's not about that, but it helps to get your question answered quicker.
Right.
And also, yeah. So we have Midnight Madness.
That's our midweek drop. So these are live, and Midnight Madness is not a live, but we tape it the midnight before. And that is where we dive into talking about subjects deeper. We're not taking any live readings because it's not live. And then we have a segment on Midnight Madness, which is called Interview with a Spirit Guide. And that's where I trance channel. Oriah doesn't know who's going to come through. I don't know who's going to come through. We don't have questions planned. She doesn't tell me what she's going to interview the spirit guide about.
Well, one of my favorite shows that we just did, you guys, is one of my favorite topics is about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And Phineas Quimby, one of our very, very loving and masterful Ascended Master teachers who channels through Riz, came through, and I was able to ask every detailed question about Bigfoot, and he answered all my questions.
Yeah,
it was
watch
so
that one.
Amazing.
So we don't know what you're going to ask.
Yeah.
You never tell me beforehand because we like to keep it fun and really keep it authentic and true that we're going to really be doing it for the first time when the cameras are rolling. So thank you guys for all the love and everything and for subscribing.
Tell your friends, tell your family. As you see, we're just trying to get this show out. We're wanting people to enjoy this opportunity to have these psychic messages. I do like the theme, Buckshot. Thank you for kind of confirming that. I think it is a good idea. I want to try it out. So we'll talk about it and see if next Sunday we want to do another theme.
Or what? Yeah, we'll figure it out and we'll let you guys know.
Or we could do maybe 2 themes in a night. Like the
I think 2 themes.
First half is one theme and the second half is another theme. And so we always come on at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we usually go about 2 hours. And we don't really plan
Sundays,
it, but that's kind of where Riz starts to be done.
And guys, we would really want to help you ask you to help us get to 10,000 subscribers. So share these videos, ask your friends to subscribe and join in on the fun with us because it helps us keep us going, and it just keeps the energy building and building. And of course, that's why we do this kind of stuff, right?
Everybody's sending so much love, you guys. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, you found us from seeing me on Gaia. Okay.
Linda, Amy, Hannah, Angela, Shelley, Deanne, John, Jennifer, Mauricio, Linda, SL, Rain, Scarlett,
Rebecca, Stephanie, Ashad, Shelley. Thank
Yay.
you. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're
Bless
welcome.
you guys. Love you guys.
We'll be seeing pictures on Instagram of the fun we're having in Sedona. So watch us.
Oh, yeah, for the retreat.
Please leave comments on the pictures that you see and reels that we're going to be posting in Sedona. And then join us next year because we're sold out for the next 2 Sedona retreats. But
These
next
people
year
are giving
open.
me chills.
I know.
I just got chills from you guys. Oh, my God.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Okay.